At what point do you sign on to a movie in most cases?
It depends. I think now I'd rather sign on from the very beginning, even from the script stage. So if the directors that I worked before, like with Todd or other directors that I had a chance to work before, they send me the script and I talk about the script in a sort of, if they want really specific ideas, I'll give them ideas, or just read the script like this is great, or and from then on get involved. But sometimes it could be the first time you work with the person. I would still love to get involved, at least in be cutting while they're shooting, because then you can give them feedback, just as close as possible and as much as possible. As an editor, I want to be there and want to be involved. I want to just be part of the creative process.
So they're giving you dailies, and then you're going in and sort of shaping that scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
On Carol, they were shooting in Cincinnati. My cutting room was in New York City. So they would shoot one day, they would ship the scene, the negative. They were shooting Super 16. So the negatives come to New York, they got scanned to 4K, get to my cutting room, and I will cut. And Todd doesn't like to watch dailies. He just does not watch dailies. So I would watch the footage and I would just give him feedback, either email or text, or be like, okay, this is great, the shooting. And because it was being shot in Super 16. So there were things that you don't see anymore. So if there was any scratch in the negative, if there was like soft focus, if there was hair in the gate and stuff, like, oh, those are film things that you have to pay attention now that on Carol. So that's what I was doing. And then I assemble as it came in, whatever scene I got that day, I cut that scene, and I cut the whole film that day. I cut the whole film when it was finished shooting. And then Todd came in after he shot. He took a little break. He came back, did very detailed notes, sat by himself watching the footage, took detailed notes, gave it to me, and then I cut the film based on the notes. So, and then he came in and we started working together that way.
How common is that for a director not want to see the dailies, and why? What is the logic behind that?
I'm not really sure the logic behind for Todd. I think he just doesn't want to get too into his head about how things are working. He wants to focus on building that world as he's directing and creating the visual world in every possible way, not only in the photography, but with production design and costume design and everything. So he wants to be immersed in that world, not to be thinking, how's this going to cut here, this, here. So kind of, he's trusting me to be, okay, you got it, so just keep doing it. I think that there are directors, the few directors that actually don't want to see anything, but most of the times they want to take a look. Even they ask, can you cut a scene together? Can we, as it's going, they're very interested to know how it's shaping up.
I'm sure there's different ones that want to be right there with you at all times, and then others that give you a lot of freedoms.
Yeah, I like to have the director in the room with me as much as possible. I really do, because I think the dialogue and how you're building and creating the scenes, we talk, and then I can do something on the Avid. And even if they're just on the side, not looking at me work, but doing something else, and then I can just right away be like, okay, how about this? It's like, okay, I have an idea, how about this? So I think there's a fluidity to have the director there, and then and I think it's stimulating too, because if the director's not there, and I understand sometimes directors just bored out of their minds to be in the cutting room, because watching somebody cut is not that easy, because it's such an internal process. But I like that you being like, your fire is always being stoked in a way, because you're always having that conversation. If the director leaves and I've done something and I had to wait for him to come back, sometimes it's just sort of like, it's too much of the flow may just be too slow. So having him around, and I know Todd likes to be in the cutting room, so it's perfect. It's great.
Is there anyone else that comes into the cutting room as well? Is it just the director?
It's just a director. I mean, unless he invites. I think Ed came in a couple of times, and while I was cutting, and Todd wasn't around, and I had asked Todd, is it okay to show stuff to Ed? And Todd says, of course, you can come in. But we don't, my assistant is the person that I showed the cuts, and I want immediate feedback. I come from my assistant. And then if something like, if Christine would come in, or she never does, or we want to show people, we do, but most of the time it's just us, just the two of us building it, finish the film that way.